Okay, well, while we're on a roll, we've got another new toy, and this is the one all the buzz is about, the fairway wood for the RocketBallz, because from what we've heard, it's long.
Oh, it's long, that's for sure. And it's a great name, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the excitement around the category for us came with this specific product. We were really on a mission the last 3 years to say fairway woods for a long time have not been anywhere near the USGA speed limits in a steel body and a steel face. So we said, well, what can we do to do that? Because that's where people buy the product. We knew we could get there in titanium, but nobody wants to spend $300 or $400 for a fairway wood, especially when you're buying multiples. So we challenged ourselves to say, what can we do to really change the performance, to really break through what's out there in fairway woods? There really hasn't been a basic speed performance benefit in fairway woods for a long time. Probably 10 years or so, where it's really changed drastically. So what we did here with the product, and the name really came originally from doing some testing with tour players. Guys are saying, man, this thing hits rockets, and just the comment of RocketBallz and all that stuff. And some of the engineers sort of scribbled it on the bottom, and we kind of said, you're not supposed to do that stuff. That's really marketing. But they did it, and as we were talking about the product, we were going to put it in the burner family. And we said, in reality, it really deserves its own name. It really deserves. It's so groundbreaking in terms of performance. It deserves a new name and a fresh name, and that's where the name came from. So the exciting thing about this product is there's a couple key technologies to get this club very close to the USGA limit for COR. And the challenge here was with a steel fairway wood, you're limited because normally that function of speed comes really off the depth of the face, as well as the fact that you have a loft angle much more than you would have in a driver. So there's a couple things going on. One of the things we found, all fairway woods typically have the weight very low. And that's typically what everybody does. But when you put the weight low, it also makes that structure stiff on the bottom. When it's stiff on the bottom, there's no flexibility, you get very little benefit in terms of speed. So the speed pocket is here, and it's a fairly deep pocket if you notice that. A highly engineered, very thin structure there to give us flexibility on the sole. So now the face has just that freedom to give a little bit of a spring-like effect. We're going to get more speed out of that.
Now, is the COR on a fairway wood the same limit as on the driver?
Same limits on a driver. We just haven't been close.
Sure.
The second thing we did was really go and look at, we've got to make the face a little bit deeper. Because it's not a huge bit deeper than our previous products, but it is a little bit deeper because you get more speed of that. The face structure is really defined from a speed standpoint by the height, because that's the shortest span. So anytime you're looking at the engineering flexibility, the bigger you can make that, the more speed benefit you can get. So we had to go just a shade deeper to help us in terms of generating speed. And the last key piece was we actually found out in many cases, some of our previous large-headed fairway woods, the CG was almost too far back. And we were getting problems because we had plenty of loft, but our CG was so far back that people were actually getting too much dynamic loft and hitting the club on the bottom leading edge of the face in some cases. Not your tour players, not your better players, but in some average golfers. So we found a couple things from our earlier learning on movable weights is that when you move the CG forward, you can get more speed. So what we did was when we moved it forward, you also notice on the fairway wood, because you have a loft effect, you're actually getting more speed and a higher launch angle and lower spin. All good things for distance. So the benefit of all three of these functions together is now a golf club that's going to be probably 4 to 5 miles an hour faster ball speed. It's going to have a higher launch than a traditional fairway wood and a lower spin rate. All those things add up to, we think, at least 17 yards. We've done a lot of testing with other players. In many cases, it's much more than that, but that's based on club speed and other things like that. But it's definitely a huge breakthrough in terms of the steel fairway that's been in the marketplace for years. So we're very excited about the category, and we think that it'll be a huge movement into RocketBallz fairway woods into 2012, because you just can't give up 17 yards.
Not at all. And still the February availability?
Yes, sir. Hit the ground running with these in February. We're going to have tour players using them in January. The tour players have gone through our video shoots already, are calling weekly saying, where is the new fairway wood? When can I get mine? And so they're chomping at the bit. When we were down at Reynolds, a perfect example was Justin Rose, who's a great player, right? Justin Rose hits his R9 3-wood, a club that he's somewhat comfortable with, but as a shot, even for a tour player, he doesn't really like hitting a 3-wood off the ground. So we asked him, we said, Justin, how far do you hit your 3-wood off the ground? He says, 245. Okay, so we have him hit his, couple shots, 244, 245, 243, in the air. That's it. Launch conditions are 162 ball speed, about 7 degrees of launch angle, and 3,900 spin. And we said, well, Justin, what do you do when you got to hit it 260 in the air? He says, I lay up. I mean, he says, I can't. He says, I can't hit the shot. No matter how hard I swing, just can't produce it. And I don't really like the shot. So we give him the new RocketBallz Fairway. We've got the same shaft that he has in his. First two shots, ball speed goes from 162 to about 166, 167, 5 miles an hour. Launch angle goes from 7 degrees up to 10. Spin goes from 3,900 down to 2,900. And he says, I can tell in the first 150 yards that this shot is much different than the one that is in my bag. And he says, it's amazing. Now, when we get to the distance, it's 270 in the air, 274, 268. I mean, it's consistently 25 yards longer for him in the air. So he's talking about this as an opening up of his game to a lot of par fives that he can't normally reach. He's talking about it as a tee-off club on shots that he needs a tight, controllable shot, but he needs the distance to keep up. And he's saying that this is a breakthrough. So the things we see in the performance are very clear immediately to golfers. Ball gets up much faster. Key problem on fairway woods. The spin rate is not too much. Another key problem. And you're getting more ball speed for basically no extra charge.
Yeah, I know the buzz is out there. I spend a lot of time on the tour, and they're all and on the truck trying to see if I could sneak something out there, and they're like, we don't have them yet, but guys want them. So that's exciting right there.
Yeah, we're very excited. We think it'll be a big changeover in terms of what's been played on there. The only challenge we heard from one or two players is it goes too far, and you only hear that on tour.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, Tom, thank you, and we look forward to opportunities to put it in play and give it a review.
Well, we're excited. We think a lot of golfers will be happy with the new product coming in spring.